Hi everybody, I hope you're good. I've just got back from watching the Avengers Endgame and all I can say is, wow, mind blown, what a film. This film hits so many levels in terms of emotions. First and foremost, you got your characters, no spoiler alert, don't worry, you got your characters dealing with loss. So in that, they have to process and reconcile their own grief, dealing with the anger issues, then progressing to denial, bargaining, and trying to really get to accepting what has happened. It's an excellent film, so I thought let me do a quick video going through some of the main themes that are wrapped around the Infinity Stones, or gems if you're a purist. Cue, or should I say, snap intro. So let's get straight to it. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there are 6 Infinity Stones that give you control over space, the soul, the mind, time, power, and reality. Each of these 6 Infinity Stones has attributes that if we apply to our own selves, we are best placed to achieving our goals. The Time Stone. When you're engrossed in a book, pick any book that you've read, that's a combination of hours and hours and hours upon research. But when you read it, it's as if time slows down itself while you're accumulating that knowledge. Draw parallels with that when you're watching the Infinity Wars, the Endgame. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about here. You can also bear witness to the manipulation of time itself whenever you're inspired. Have you ever been truly engrossed in a hobby or a passion of yours that you've forgotten to eat? You've forgotten to check your phone. It's as if, again, time itself stood still. So when we are truly inspired, meaning we are in our spirits, remember in the spiritual dimension, time and place do not exist. They do not follow the physical laws of reality. Do things that inspire you. We're surrounded by the things that were created by people that are no longer here. Just turn on the radio, listen to the tracks from, say, David Bowie, Michael Jackson, Prince. You know, the list is endless. Okay, these are artists that created things that were aligned to their passions, that were truly inspired, and their music lives on. When you're driving, pay close attention to what you're driving past. Some of those buildings were designed and built over a series of generations, hundreds of years. Take a look at the Cathedral of Notre Dame, just burnt down literally a couple of weeks ago. But that was built over hundreds of years. So when you're inspired and you can inspire the generation in a project, you go from being time specific to timeless. If you struggle to find meaning in this life, if you're struggling to identify your hobbies and your passions, why don't you start with a paper and pen and write your eulogy? How would you like to be remembered and live your life literally backwards? Live up to the expectations that you have written down for yourself. But that starts with you thinking and projecting your thoughts to the future. Then taking day by day steps to get yourself to that future. Again, you're playing around with time. But don't fixate yourself on the illusion of time. What we have to pay close heed to is avoiding spending time with people that don't respect their time and certainly don't respect your time. Time is the most precious commodity that we have. The Mind Stone, or should I say the formulation of thought. Learning to embrace silence will ultimately result in you being able to master and have control over your mind and your body. The mind literally fears silence. Most people don't know how to deal with silence. Perfect silence is because they're terrified of all their thoughts coming to the fore. So what people tend to do is drown out the silence with noise, either through conversation, with background noise, or playing music. Time and time again, we are ruminating over thoughts that don't add value in our lives. And the more we invest our time thinking about these thoughts, the more the thoughts grow and they become stronger. And again, the neural pathways to the thoughts become so strong that they're the go-to thought in any given situation. When every time you want to progress, your go-to thought is something negative. Yet, our conscious mind is constantly thinking about our next moment, keeping all our brain activities focused on what it needs to survive in any given stage. So when you're having this conflict between your mind trying to stop the rumination of thoughts that are non-productive, it struggles to then deal with the here and the now. Silence is not empty space. There's an infinite amount of information and data in every moment. And that is used to provide meaning to whatever precedes it. So for example, a pause could give meaning to how you feel about what you're trying to express. So as in music, it is the gaps in the music, the silence between the notes that give you the rhythm, that make you like particular songs. It's not the actual playing of the note, it's the gaps. It is not the bars that keep the tiger trapped in his cage, it's the gaps in between the bars. I'm going to talk a little bit about lean thinking. The whole premise of the Infinity War was the fact that Thanos did the snap and half of all life forms ceased to exist. Now let me ask you this question. If half your thoughts literally vanished with a snap, how would you behave? I'll put it to you, there's a lot of you out there that will say, do you know what? I'll be finally released because these thoughts are like an anchor. They're stopping me progressing. They're keeping me still. Give yourself a mental spring clean once in a while. Don't be afraid to get rid of a lot of thoughts that are not adding real value to you. If you haven't forgiven somebody for something that they've done, learn to forgive and move on. All these thoughts actually hold you back. The soul stone. The soul is in constant search for truth and meaning through self-realization. It's constantly seeking to find meaning in things, constantly looking for its creator, constantly asking higher level questions such as, why am I here? What do I exist from? What do I exist to do? It's not concerned with matters of the flesh or the physical dimension. So understanding what the soul stone is all about and applying it to your passions, to your goals, will lead you to start to ask yourself, do you know what is the higher purpose? If you look at the most successful, even blue chip companies, they're normally aligned to something that is higher than what they actually are selling. Higher principles. These are things that gravitate to people's souls. Take a look at your own business, your own goal, and see if it moves your soul. If it does, this is something that can also connect to other people, it can resonate with other people. This is an unseen hand literally at play, because when the soul is engaged in any activities, it works on a very high dimension. The reality stone. The group Soul to Soul had a hit, I think, in the late 90s, Back to Life. I think the lyrics were back to life, back to reality. At least that was the chorus. Now, what do we mean by reality? So much of reality, in fact, all of reality is subjective. It is transient and is based upon our vantage point. It's based upon the person doing the observing. They're defining to a greater good what their reality is. If something's not being observed, you cannot really say that it's part of reality. Somebody has to be observing it to make sure that it even exists. So reality, knowing that it's subjective and knowing that people have different ways of viewing life, if you understand that, you should be able to position yourself, your message, to appeal to people that can view life in different ways. Some people are very analytical. So when you're doing a pitch, for example, you need to be presenting more numbers, more empirical evidence to support what you're talking about. Some people are more into words, into feelings, winning the hearts and those minds. So people are different. So accepting that will really help you to connect. And to add to that, essentially, it is the ego that is commanding the way that we are perceiving our environment. Our egos are the ones putting a filter on whether this is a friend or a foe. Our egos are the ones presenting the data back to ourselves in order for us to interpret and navigate the world that we're in. So we need to become more aware of the techniques we can use to control our egos so we can then connect with the realities of life. As the saying goes, let go of your ego, then you can connect with the people. The Power Stone. In Avengers Infinity Wars, Thanos tells Iron Man during a fight, "You're not the only person cursed with knowledge." So does knowledge ultimately make a person powerful? Sure, knowledge could be the difference between life and death. It is part of the process. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. And yes, in that order. You cannot make a wise decision without first having knowledge. You have knowledge first, then you can be wise. Then you can move to understanding. When you have these three components, then you are truly powerful. But somebody that has power also recognizes the limitations of power. Some power, once used, takes ages to replenish. Some power can only be used once. So power can also be transient. And ultimate power derives from knowledge and a person's ability to harness, harvest, and cultivate that knowledge at will for whatever purpose they need. Now, we cannot really talk about power without exploring how it affects my most favorite Avenger of all time, and that is the Hulk. Anger is a necessary energy, although it's being used for murders and wars. Anger, when it's focused, can lead to constructive action and also deconstructive action, as evidenced by Bruce Banner and the Hulk paradigm. And between Infinity Wars and Endgame, you see Bruce Banner constantly struggling with this duality between constructive and deconstructive use of anger. Now, if we apply those things in our own lives, in terms of where does anger play a role? A lot of people perceive anger as being ultimately negative. But let me show you how anger can be used as a catalyst for change in your life. Change begins with desire. A desire to achieve more. A desire to have more possessions, a desire to add more value in the world, a desire to have children. Desire leads to frustration when you confront head-on the things that are blocking you from achieving your goal. Could it be your spouse not encouraging you? Could it be the fact that you have no money? Is it your education that's preventing you from applying for the job that you really want? Whenever you meet head-on that which is blocking you from achieving something that you want, you shall start getting frustrated. You see this in the Hulk, you see the tension. Now, for some people, they will continue to tiptoe between desire and frustration. Desire and frustration. And you can hear it played out in the conversations. I want to change, but I can't because I have no money. I want a bigger house, but I don't have the right job. I want to have children, but I don't have a relationship. I want to have that. The tiptoeing between a desire and frustration. They're not moving forward. This is where anger plays a pivotal role. You need to get angry. You need to literally Hulk out, because anger is that energy that allows you to break free from the frustration that you're having, particularly when it's focused. It has to be focused to then kickstart. Oh, right, I'm going to the job center. Right, I'm filling the application form. Right, I am going to tell my spouse that the relationship's over. Right, I am going to do this. Anger is that emotion that you need when you are in a rut. Anger now, when it's unchecked, becomes a problem, when people can become now passive aggressive, easily able to lose their temper. These are dangerous people. Yes, you need to avoid them because they have not mastered their anger yet. The Space Stone. This is all about understanding that the Earth, first and foremost, is already in space. There's no Earth and space is somewhere over there. The earth is already in space. So what I mean by this when we're applying it to our goals is if we're setting goals that keep us rooted to the ground, we are not going to be pushing ourselves hard enough. And when you don't push yourself hard enough, you'll find yourself stagnating, not fulfilling your true potential. The space that we live in, the physical space, our physical reality, are not confined to planet Earth. Our goals should be over and above all of these things. Think stratospheric, be intergalactic. Think things that are so big they will frighten you. Space is all around us. Find beauty, find the wonder in life, and you shall achieve great things. Think about the caterpillar. There's nothing you can observe in the caterpillar that will let you know that one day it's going to wrap a cocoon around itself and then out of it will come out a butterfly. That which once crawled is now able to fly. Give your goals, give your dreams, give your aspirations the same attention as Thanos did in his pursuit for those stones, and you shall achieve great things. I sincerely hope that this video helps to bring in your new reality. And remember guys, all of this means nothing if we don't apply and share. Each one, teach one. This has been Douglas Hamadishe for NobodyMotivation.com. I'm out. Download your free 140 Rule ebook from the 140rule.com website. The links are below.